Starting out with Unit 2, Lesson 3. Alrighty, we'll be moving on to Unit 2, Lesson 3. Here we're talking about the United States and the different climates that are in the United States. So we'll take a look at that. So the United States is a very climate diverse area here. So we got a lot going on. Whenever it comes to the United States' climate, you got a lot of regions to take into effect because the United States is divided into multiple different regions. We got the Northeast, we got the Southeast, we got the Gulf Coast, we got the Midwest, we got the Pacific North, and then we got our Colorado Rockies area, and we got the areas of Alaska and Hawaii. So we got a large situation going on here. So it is very diverse, very wide range of situations going on in regards to the climate. So let's take a look. So first set of climates, we're looking at the Northeastern climate. Northeastern climate is similar to that Midwestern climate. Remember, United States is kind of dealing with a continental climate. So because of its relationship to the equator and its relationship to the poles, it's got a certain type of climate. So it's gonna be a very hot summer and very cold winters. If you look at the Northeast, the winters hit hard, very freezing cold, very difficult to deal with whenever it comes to the weather. So very difficult when it comes to the cold. In the heat, generally pretty hot, not ridiculously hot like we have it down in South Texas, but a generally hot summer because of that continental climate that extends from the Northeast all the way into the Midwest right there. Then we get into our southeastern climate. Now the southeast is generally subtropical. Southeast climate involves places like the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. You got that subtropical, you see those palm trees, generally pretty hot in the summer, and generally just a humid area. More humid than the Northeast. The Northeast and the Midwest is a little humid, but the Southeast is very humid. Here you're gonna get a lot of swamps, especially in Florida and in Georgia and the Carolinas, because of that subtropical warm heat going on. Then we move on to the Southwest. The Southwest, if we're looking at us over here in Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, those places are very dry, arid heat. So we got a dry, arid situation going on. Now we got a diverse situation going on when it comes to the Southwest, because some portions of the Southwest, depending if they're close to the Gulf, they got a more similar situation going on with the Southeast climate. But generally, the Southwest is usually very dry, a lot of heat, and the winters are not too bad, but the summers are terrible. They're rough and they're hard. Then if we look over up north in the Pacific Northwest, generally pretty cold winters, and a lot of rain. If you look at places like Seattle or places like in Oregon, it is very well known for its moisture. It's very wet, very wet climate. Then we're moving on to the Rocky Mountains area. If we're looking at the Rocky Mountains area, generally the Rocky Mountains, similar to any mountain area, when it comes to the side of it, is generally has a large amount of vegetation because a lot of water precipitation comes down and then it increases in its coldness. So that mountain climate, classic mountain climate, moist along the sides and an decreasing in temperature as you increase in elevation. So higher you go, the colder it gets. Then we look at Alaska. Alaska is a freezing cold tundra with different coniferous forests there. So if you're thinking about like Christmas trees and thick trees that are very green and bushy, those are those forests that are in Alaska. Very cold, hard ground, Hard for vegetation to grow there. Summers are virtually non-existent, but the cold winters are very cold, as we know in the Great White North there. If we look at the opposite thing, we got an opposite situation going on in Hawaii. Hawaii is pretty much a tropical situation going on. Tropical situation. So a lot of moisture. Again, Hawaii is a collection of islands. So that oceanic mixed with a tropical climate is the situation going on in Hawaii. A lot of vegetation and a lot of wildlife because of diversity of the vegetation. Then we look at the Gulf Coast. The Gulf Coast is kind of that combination of a nice southeastern humid climate with the southwest heat climate. So that generally means for a lot of humidity and a lot of moisture moving around. So as you can tell, the United States has a very diverse climate. We got frozen tundras in the north. You got tropical areas in the South Pacific. Then you got heat in the Southwest. You got mountainous climates in the West. You got continental climates in the Northeast and the Midwest. And you have a wide range of oceanic climates on both the coast and on the Gulf Coast. So you pretty much see every type of climate in the United States. All righty.